As Manchester United grapples with their worst season start in 61 years, the pressure on manager Erik is reaching new heights. However, a glimmer of change emerges in the takeover process as Jim Ratcliffe secures a 25% stake in the club. These are our 7 predictions for Manchester United in 2024. Number 1. Performances after the injury crisis. United's season has been a tough ride so far, losing 9 of their first 18 matches across all competitions. Progressing in the Champions League is a massive challenge, and they find themselves well off the Premier League's top 4. Critics may question the manager's choices, but the absence of key players has forced frequent lineup changes, impacting team cohesion and form. The defense has suffered the most, with the entire back 4 from last season, along with a reliable backup, often unavailable due to injuries. Ten Hag eagerly awaits their return to fitness, anticipating an improvement once the squad is back to full strength. Despite these setbacks, there must be optimism. As players return from injury, we predict the team will perform better. The numbers support this, with United being the Premier League's in-form team over the last 5 games, climbing the ranks and currently sitting in 6th place. Looking deeper, it's noteworthy that even with the key players missing, United has managed a good run of results domestically. Ten Hag remains confident, seeing the recent climb as a positive sign for the future. The board and fans should support it, especially since he has become the joint fastest manager to reach 50 wins for the club. Giving him time could be crucial for the team's resurgence. Number 2. Ratcliffe's changes at United. This topic has frustrated fans in Manchester for years. The ownership of the club. A year ago, hopes were high as the Glazer family hinted at selling the club, promising a fresh start. However, the outcome seems to be Sir Jim Ratcliffe's minority investment, set to be officially announced in the coming week. The British billionaire, also the chairman and CEO of chemical company Ineos, is poised to spend approximately £1.3 billion to secure a 25% stake, marking the first significant change in ownership since the Glazers' takeover in 2005. While the Glazers will retain majority ownership, Ratcliffe and Ineos, with prior football experience at OGC Nice in France and FC Lausanne Sport in Switzerland, are expected to wield influence over the sporting side of the business. Fan reactions are mixed, with many torn between disappointment and frustration over the Glazers' continued ownership and a hopeful anticipation for a potential new era under Ratcliffe. The consensus is that after 18 years of Glazer ownership, United is in dire need of a new direction. Jim Ratcliffe's imminent impact extends beyond ownership percentages. He plans to revamp the administrative staff, signaling a departure for Richard Arnold, who, despite previous successes on the commercial front, under Woodward's tenure, faced criticism for decision-making in 2023. Looking ahead, Ratcliffe's to-do list includes addressing the aging infrastructure, notably Old Trafford and the team's training facilities at Carrington. Additionally, he aims to overhaul the player transfer process, marking a pivotal moment for United's future. Fans and football enthusiasts alike eagerly await these changes, hopeful for a positive transformation after nearly 2 decades under Glazer ownership. Number 3. A change in the transfer strategy. After a meeting between United's executives and Ratcliffe's team in March, there was a belief that they had left a positive impression on the British billionaire. However, sources close to Ratcliffe indicates that he holds a negative view of the club's operations in the transfer market over the past decade. According to him, there's a disconnect between United's substantial revenue, ranking among the highest globally, and their on-field performance. Sources suggest that Ratcliffe is determined to address and rectify this issue, while those close to Ratcliffe have distanced themselves from Richard Arnold's decision to step down as United's CEO. Changes in the structure and key personnel are on the horizon. The current football director, John Murtough, has been in the role since 2021 and is expected to depart as part of the impending shakeup. Ten Hag, who has wielded significant power since his appointment in 2022, is not likely to relinquish it easily, having received assurances, including a veto on all transfer decisions upon his arrival. Ten Hag expects these commitments to be honored, regardless of whether the Glazers or Ratcliffe are in control. However, it might be in United's best interest for recruitment purposes if the manager could concentrate solely on his role. In the coming year, Ten Hag is anticipated to collaborate more closely with the technical director, resembling the setup at Ajax. This adjustment aims to allow Ten Hag to focus more on managing the team, aligning with his primary responsibilities. And to be fair, the Dutchman did great with this setup in Amsterdam, closely working together with former Arsenal player Mark Overmars. Number 4. Ten Hag's change in responsibility. One argument suggests that part of United's recruitment struggles in the past decade stems from signing players tailored to fit the current manager rather than forming a cohesive long-term plan. Anticipated changes in the board may bring about a shift, moving away from purchasing players solely known to the current manager. With the exception of Rasmus Højlund and Casemiro, all of United's signings under Ten Hag have been players he's familiar with. His knowledge extended to Martinez, Anthony, Eriksen, Malacia, and Mount from Dutch football, with even Amrabat having ties to the Netherlands. Additionally, there was an attempt to sign his former player, Frenkie de Jong. The club's approach to Ten Hag seemed to be, who do you want, without a clear strategy in place. United's recruitment issues go beyond poor purchases. They've developed a concerning pattern of paying high prices for players and subsequently letting them go for minimal returns. Fred departed for £8 million, David De Gea left for free, and the club struggled to secure decent offers for Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, or Jadon Sancho. In contrast, rivals like Manchester City turned a profit on transfers in 2022, showcasing effective selling strategies. Looking ahead, Ratcliffe and Ineos sporting director Sir David Brailsford faced the task of overhauling United's recruitment network. This involves ensuring a diverse pool of players to choose from, and preventing instances where the club pays exorbitant amounts, such as £60 million for Mason Mount over the summer or £81 million for Anthony in 2022. Number 5. The Glazers will not sell the club. The central question on everyone's mind is, what level of influence will Ratcliffe wield with his 25% stake? He's not one to be a passive silent partner, yet his ownership share won't grant him complete control. The dynamics between Ratcliffe, the Glazers, and his rapport with Ten Hag will be pivotal. Insiders assert that Ineos and Ratcliffe wouldn't commit an estimated £1.3 billion for a 25% stake without assurances to implement their own organizational vision. The success of United on the field directly impacts the financial interests of the Glazers, instilling confidence in finding a harmonious balance. The actual implementation of the structure will be the true indicator, and only time will answer this question. While Ineos envisions eventual full control of the club, indications suggest that the Glazers will remain the major shareholders even as 2025 approaches. Number 6. Players leaving. Regardless of who will make the final decision, the upcoming January transfer window holds significant importance in reshaping Manchester United's challenging season. To facilitate potential new signings, the club may need to offload players to generate funds. The most likely departure in January is Jadon Sancho, who has been excluded from the first-team squad since early September following a disagreement with Ten Hag, and there's been no indication of a resolution. Van de Beek was initially earmarked for departure in the summer, but interest waned after a proposed move to Real Sociedad fell through. Despite being left out of the Champions League squad, he has shown domestic competition involvement, with only 2 appearances totaling 21 minutes, both against Crystal Palace. United may entertain offers for him in the new year. Anthony Martial, given his technical prowess and extensive experience, should be performing at a higher level at this stage in his career. Regrettably, he has been inconsistently frustrating, playing second fiddle to new signing Rasmus Højlund. The drop in intensity when Martial replaces Højlund is noticeable, prompting the suggestion that United should part ways with Martial in January. Similarly, Anthony, acquired for €95 million from Ajax in the summer of 2022, has not lived up to expectations. Despite the belief that United secured a dynamic young winger, Antony's sporadic performances have showcased limitations outweighing his positives. With no goals or assists in the 2023-24 season, United should consider selling him in the January transfer window to recoup some of the hefty €95 million expenditure. 7. The battle for the top 4. Wrapping up on a positive note, we believe Manchester United will secure a spot in the Champions League next season. Despite their challenging start, their proximity to the top gives them confidence that they'll clinch a top 4 finish. However, the club's European aspirations could face unintended complications due to the ongoing takeover. UEFA's multi-club ownership regulations prohibit one organization from controlling or having authority over additional clubs participating in a competition. Currently leading Ligue 1, Nice is in excellent form, trailing PSG by only 1 point. If United aims to qualify for the Champions League, they must remain or surpass Nice's league standing, provided they remain in the top 4. What are your thoughts on this potential scenario? Share your opinions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, check out this video on Bruno Fernandes next. Thank you for watching.